Wings to Fly is a children's book about gaining confidence and working to succeed, told from the perspective of a young girl who loves to play basketball. She is often left out by her teammates until she meets her guardian angel who teaches her that success takes perseverance. Wings to Fly is a great read for all children. I would highly recommend this book. If you would like to make a purchase, please click on the link in my description box below.
In 1999, a career criminal and self-described hitman Arnold Beverly confessed he shot Faulkner in the head and that Abu-Jamal arrived after Faulkner was shot and had nothing to do with the shooting. Without providing any reason except that the confession was too late, the Pennsylvania and federal courts have refused to even admit this confession into evidence.
On December 9th, 1981, at around 4 in the morning, Mumia was on shift driving his taxi, and he spotted his younger brother, William Cook, being harassed by Officer Daniel Faulkner. He pulled up to assist his brother in the altercation, but an all-out gunfight erupted, leaving Officer Daniel Faulkner dead and Mumia shot in the stomach. And Mumia was later convicted of first-degree murder. Then he was sentenced to death.
Jamal's brother, Billy Cook, was alone in the Volkswagen. Officers James Forbes and Robert Shoemaker testified at the '82 trial that they were the first officers to arrive on the scene and that they immediately found Abu-Jamal's gun as well as Faulkner's gun. Inspector Alfonso Giordano would arrive 3 minutes later and take control of the scene as the ranking officer. At pre-trial hearings, Giordano testified that Abu-Jamal confessed to the murder when Giordano asked him where his gun was, and Abu-Jamal replied, "I dropped it beside the car after I shot him." Cab driver Robert Chobert testified he was parked just behind Faulkner's squad car, witnessed the shooting, and identified Abu-Jamal as the shooter. Prostitute Cynthia White also testified that she saw the shooting. Her testimony matched that of Robert Chobert's. All of these claims, most of which form the foundation of the prosecution's case, were manufactured.
Mumia Abu-Jamal was a journalist and political activist who was sentenced to death for the murder of police officer Daniel Faulkner. Born Wesley Cook on April 24, 1954 from Philadelphia. He began journalism at the age of 14, and he was already leading protests and fighting against white supremacy. Mumia Abu-Jamal's name was getting bigger in the streets of Philadelphia. His voice was strong, and he began going hard at the police force. He had a voice on radio and through the newspapers, but journalism wasn't enough for him to get ahead financially, so he began driving taxis on an overnight shift as a part-time job. He was also a Black Panther, and he became the Minister of Information for the Philadelphia chapter. In 1970, he changed his name from Wesley Cook to Mumia Abu-Jamal. During the trial, they tried to question why did he have a gun in the first place, but they wouldn't talk about how Mumia just got robbed twice. Mumia was recently robbed 2 times, so common sense will tell you to start carrying a gun. That's why he had a weapon. They wanted to make it seem like he was just waiting for an opportunity to kill a police officer. They tried to frame this as the only reason he had a gun is because he was just waiting to kill somebody. Another thing they tried to twist up during the trial was about the passenger. They claimed no one else was inside the car that day. Mumia Abu-Jamal had a passenger inside of his taxi named Kenneth Freeman. Kenneth Freeman's driver's license was inside the pocket of deceased officer Daniel Faulkner. Why would his driver's license be in the pocket of Daniel Faulkner? They claim nobody was present. Another thing, Kenneth Freeman was murdered while being handcuffed. Think about that. Nothing about this story has ever been proven, but what it sounds like to me, they planned on killing a couple of brothers that night, and they was not expecting those brothers to return fire. The prosecutor during the trial used one of Mumia's quotes against him, saying political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. But what they didn't know, Mumia said that in reference of Fred Hampton. That quote was about Fred Hampton. So again, they were trying to paint this image of this crazy wild man who was riding around one night just looking for cops to kill. During the trial, they tried to make him look like some angry, reckless terrorist. All of the so-called eyewitnesses later recanted their stories.
But what about eyewitness testimony? What about Cynthia White, the prostitute whose testimony was the linchpin to the prosecution's case? Several times after the shooting, she was arrested only to be let go after she signed updated witness statements. Each time, the story changed to make a stronger case against Abu-Jamal. By the time the case went to trial, her statement fit perfectly into the prosecution's case. Witnesses Pamela Jenkins and Yvette Williams swore that White said she was scared for her life under police threats if she didn't testify as they wanted. Witness Veronica Jones blurted out on the witness stand at the 1982 trial that the police told her Cynthia White was given a deal to say that Abu-Jamal was the shooter. Jones testified that the police threatened her to ID Abu-Jamal as well. What's more, all the civilian witnesses, both for the prosecution and the defense, testified that they didn't see Cynthia White on the scene, or only later after the police arrived. Michael Scanlon and Albert Magilton. Both men said that they did not see the shooting. Magilton only saw a man run across Locust Street. Scanlon explicitly described the man he saw as having an afro hairstyle and not dreadlocks. In that 8 people, including 2 officers and 2 prosecution witnesses, identified the shooter or persons near Faulkner as wearing a green army jacket. But Billy Cook was wearing a blue Nehru-style jacket, and Abu-Jamal was wearing a blue quilted ski jacket with wide red zigzag stripes.
And they all claim the reason they made those statements was due to police intimidation. Mumia Abu-Jamal has spent over 20 years on death row. But his sentence was overturned in 2001 to life in prison. While inside, Mumia has accomplished a lot. He's earned degrees, and he's written several books. Even as late as 2017, with his book called Have Black Lives Ever Mattered? We have to take care of our political prisoners. If you would like to contact Mumia Abu-Jamal, you can send them a letter here. Send them letters. They will write you back. If you'd like to send them any money, no amount is too small. Every little bit counts. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comment section. Please follow the History with No Chaser Facebook and Instagram pages.